Let's take a look at the results that have just come out of Sterling. We had a drop in profits despite that increase in gross earnings and a 20% growth in loans and advances. What has hit the company's earnings?
Well, as you know, Sterling Bank is one of the healthy banks, but it's a marginal player in the market. We've not seen the details of the results, so we've not been able to actually analyze what has actually hit their earnings. But it's not one of the key players, and I think the effect on the market should not be dramatic. But generally speaking, I think banks, the results that they've been releasing have been fairly good. We've been fairly excited at the results, which shows that at least the operating environment is generally improving. And I think it's that macro level that we're trying to focus on to see that the businesses and the banks themselves are actually, coming out of the woods and investors' confidence, starting to mend. So that's, I think, it's the key thing that we're seeing.
And we saw that bullish sentiment on some of those banks yesterday as a result of the strong earnings that have started to come through. Let's move on to Oando's results. Company reporting a 55% rise year on year in profits for the first half of the year. Take us through the group's operations from downstream through to upstream, and it has been trying to grow this upstream side of the business, and that has been a profitable one for the company.
Yes, that's true. Oando, in over 3 years now, has been focusing on diversifying from downstream. We think they've been relatively successful in that. In the upstream, they have a couple of rigs that are operational and are leased out to the oil multinationals. That is a higher margin business that they've been trying to focus on. I think that strategy has started to pay off. Also, they are in the midstream, which is the gas, and a lot of the industrial companies and the big multinationals, especially in Lagos, rely on them. What you find is that Oando is very, very aggressive and forward-thinking company. They're making a long-term bet, which should pay off. And so they're not relying just on volumes from the downstream sector, which also, if you take a look at it, they are actually, one of the market leaders in terms of distribution for downstream petroleum products. So Oando, it's an interesting company to watch. We think if the strategy, if they get the strategy and hits a bullseye, that it could be fairly exciting, and investors in that company should be rewarded. Of course, we've seen the share price, tumble the last couple of weeks, but that's general market sentiments affecting that. But with these results they've just released, I think investors will definitely be taking a second look because profitability is up, strong top-line growth, and those are the things that you like to see, in a company.
Olumide, a quick comment on FCMB's results released yesterday. Gross earnings rose by 17.6%, but profits surged 90%. So really that cost restructuring helping the company there. They've also signed that agreement with Finback. Just your comments on that banking stock.
FCMB as a mid-tier player is interesting, and FCMB as have been expanding fairly cautiously. I think the Finbank merger discussion is interesting. What you've seen is that from a strategic fit point of view, it should be good. Finbank is not a very big bank, so in terms of even assimilating that acquisition, it should be fine. And with AMCON, of course, taking all the non-performing loans, so it's just about integration. In terms of the results, I've had a very cursory look. I've not had time to actually analyze it, but what I did say is that generally speaking, top line and bottom line, that the results seemed fairly good.